You've tried moving a couch. It's heavy. You need a friend, maybe two. Now imagine moving a block of limestone the size of a car, twice as heavy, 50 times, 1,000 times, up a mountain of stone that doesn't exist yet. You think the pyramids were built by forces beyond human capability. The real answer is far stranger. They were built by humans, regular humans. No machines, no pulleys, no motors, just math, physics, water, and 1,000 years of construction practice spread across a civilization. The Great Pyramid sits on the Giza Plateau outside modern Cairo, Egypt. It contains 2 million blocks of stone. Each block weighs between 2.5 and 15 tons. Some weigh 80 tons. The pyramid rises 146 meters into the air. It was built 4,500 years ago. To put that in perspective, when the Great Pyramid was completed, there were no written laws in most of the world. No wheels were used in war. No horse saddles existed. And yet here stands a structure so precisely aligned to true north that it deviates by less than half a degree. This precision wasn't magic, it was intentional. The ancient Egyptians understood geometry. They understood the stars. They used them as tools. The correlation to the cardinal directions wasn't accidental. It was a statement of power and cosmic knowledge. But before the first stone went into the ground, there was a problem. You have to get the stones to the site. The Great Pyramid alone required stone from multiple quarries across Egypt. Some limestone came from local sites near Giza. Fine white Tura limestone for the outer casing came from the east bank of the Nile. Granite for the burial chamber came from Aswan, 800 kilometers south. That's the distance from New York to Chicago, except the only transportation available was the Nile River. Here's where the Egyptians showed their first real ingenious move. They didn't try to drag these massive blocks overland immediately. Instead, they carved blocks at the quarries using copper tools and wooden wedges. Then they loaded them onto wooden barges. Every year, during the Nile flood season, the river expanded massively beyond its banks. The floodwaters rose and fell with perfect predictability. The Egyptians built a harbor system right at the base of the Giza Plateau. Archaeologist Mark Lehner discovered the remains of this lost harbor in the 1990s. The Nile brought the stones to the pyramid's doorstep. Without this system, the entire project would have collapsed under its own logistics. Once the stones arrived at the construction site, the real work began. The pharaoh would establish an engineering department, a chief architect, an overseer, a department of manpower. This wasn't slave labor forced from one man's whip. Evidence suggests these were organized workers. Communities across Egypt sent able-bodied men to participate in what had become a national project. They came for a season. They had housing. They had food. They had medical care. They returned home to their families. The pyramid was a shared effort, a way for the entire kingdom to demonstrate its power and control under the pharaoh. But even with organized labor, you still face a fundamental problem. How do you move a 15-ton block of limestone up the side of a mountain that grows taller every single day? The answer involves something you wouldn't expect. Water. Not water to float the blocks. Water underneath them. Imagine taking a wooden sledge with a block of stone resting on top. The sledge has a smooth bottom. Now pour water onto the sand in front of the sledge. The water reduces friction dramatically. The sand becomes slick. A team of workers can then pull the sledge forward using ropes. Experiments by Adel Kalani and other modern archaeologists have shown that 4 men can pull a 2.5-ton stone across sand this way in about 2 minutes. Now scale that up. 10 men, a 15-ton block, maybe 5 minutes. Now do this thousands and thousands of times over 20 years. But water alone doesn't get you up a pyramid that's already 50 meters tall. For that, you need ramps. Egyptologist Mark Lehner has spent 40 years studying exactly how these ramps worked. His theory, published in 1985, has become the leading explanation among researchers. Lehner proposes a combination ramp system. A long, straight ramp starts at the quarries to the south and gradually rises as it approaches the pyramid. This ramp carries blocks for the lower third of the structure, where the bulk of the work happens and the angle is least steep. Then, as the pyramid grows taller, the builders construct a spiral ramp that winds around the pyramid itself, getting narrower and steeper as it climbs. The ramp materials, limestone rubble from the quarries and desert clay, are already present. They cost nothing. When construction is complete, the ramps are dismantled and the materials scattered back into the desert. This explains why no massive ramp debris exists at Giza today. The actual lifting mechanism at the top of the pyramid? Levers. Simple wooden levers with wooden fulcrums. A team of workers places a wooden pole under one edge of the stone. They push down on the other end. The stone tilts up slightly. Another team slides a wooden block underneath. The lever is removed, the process repeats. One course at a time, one block at a time, step by step. This is the counterintuitive twist that breaks the mystery open. There are no pulleys in the archaeological record of ancient Egypt. Not for pyramid construction. The Greeks hadn't invented them yet. The Egyptians didn't need them. They understood leverage. They understood friction. They understood how to organize thousands of people to solve a single, impossible-sounding problem by breaking it into 10,000 small possible problems. The precision in alignment, the cardinal directions matching to within half a degree, came from observing stars. The Egyptians had a sophisticated understanding of astronomy. They could sight along the edges of the pyramid as it was being built to ensure accuracy. They used simple tools: lengths of string, the North Star, mathematics carved into papyrus, plans drawn in the sand. The entire operation, quarrying, transporting, organizing labor, lifting, placing, aligning, took place over roughly 20 years for the Great Pyramid. 2 million blocks. 80% of the world's population was smaller than the workforce mobilized to build this structure. You think you can't move your couch without help, but your ancestors moved mountains, one stone at a time, with nothing but ingenuity, water, and organization. What seemed impossible was simply a matter of will, mathematics, and a civilization's desire to build something that would last forever.